2, bringing you part 2 of this Fat Shawty Gskinny big deal paperwork, this homicide case folder. There is a second part to this, second document to go through, so I'd be remiss if I didn't. So here we have the case folder, case names, Keon Holton and Keon Vance. As you know, we are talking about Fat Shawty, Gskinny, Diamande, and Big Dale. Here we have a narrative for the event, for the on-scene event. Let me zoom in if I can. Right, that ain't work. All right, we just read it how it is. So event number 00054, BWC incident. In summary, responding officers responded to a shots fired call at said address of occurrence. Upon arrival, responding officers observed who was later to be discovered as victim Vance Keon laying on the ground of the parking lot of said address with multiple gunshot wounds, unresponsive. CFD Ambulance 3 arrived on the scene and began rendering aid. Ambulance 3 transported Vance Keon to Illinois Masonic Hospital, where Vance Keon was pronounced deceased at 0026 hours. Second victim Holton Keon, self-transported, took himself to 2544 West Montrose Avenue, where CFD ambulance was requested per beat 1911. Ambulance 32 arrived and transported victim Holton Keon, who obtained one gunshot wound, to Illinois Masonic Hospital, where he was pronounced deceased at 0037 hours. Said incident was reported to have started as a verbal altercation that occurred inside of Michelle's ballroom at 2800 West Belmont Avenue. By redaction, he observed a male black in a green hoodie produce a handgun walking eastbound across the street. Redaction observed a male laying on the ground across the street in the parking lot, and multiple vehicles leaving the scene. Redaction notified Beat 1760 that he had cell phone footage of vehicles that were involved in the incident leaving the scene. Beat 1733, 1723, 1722, 1710, 1761C, 1760, 1499 on scene. So here's the on scene report of what the narrative of the crime, the police officers believe the narrative of the crime is from witnesses at this point. And there you have that. And scrolling down, we have the homicide report for DNA for Keon Vance. Supplementary report for Keon Holton. And it tells you it happened. Parking lot. All right, and we have some write-up here. All right, Keon Vance, 6211 South Evans Avenue. It says the offender here is unknown, green hoodie, male. Sex, race, age, male 1, unknown. Location was 2800 West Belmont Avenue. Event 21303-00054. In summary, responding officers assisted Beat 1724 by going to Illinois Masonic Hospital with Vance Keon, the victim. Vance was pronounced by Dr. Pearl at 0026 hours. Another victim arrived as well, Keon Holton, L. Holton was pronounced by Dr. Pearl, the same doctor, at 0047 hours. Responding officers waited for detectives and ET, emergency treatment. While waiting for the emergency unit, several individuals began creating a disturbance outside of the hospital and began threatening the victim Vance's family, implying he had a weapon. Responding officers assisted Beat 1932 and secured the entrance of the emergency room. Allied request at 0455 on October 30th, 21, then given and next of kin contacted. Give me case numbers, and here are the case numbers for those two. All right. And now we have another event summary. Responding officers spoke to Redacted, who resides at Redaction, regarding a person shot at an above address. Redaction related that she heard gunshots and saw a person running eastbound through her alley a short time later and heard a garbage can lid open and slam shut, which made her believe that a possible offender tossed a possible weapon in one of the garbage cans in her alley. Responding officers searched all garbage cans in the alley with negative results. And this is Keon Vance. The event. In summary, responding officers assisted Beat 1724 by going to Illinois' Masonic Hospital with Vance Keon. Vance was pronounced by Dr. Pearl at 0026 hours. Another victim arrived as well, Keon Holton. Holton was pronounced by Dr. Pearl at 0047 hours. Responding officers waited for detectives in the emergency ET. While waiting on ET, several individuals began creating a disturbance, which is what we just read above. It's probably just a duplicate. All right, and we have another event here. In summary, beat number 1733 was assigned by OEMC for crime scene protection at the location listed. While beat number 1733 was protecting the crime scene, responding officers were approached by a witness at around 0047 hours. Redaction, Chicago, Illinois, at this zip code. Redaction provided responding officers with a USB thumb drive and related that said drive has video evidence captured on camera. And to just note that I've already I've submitted the video footage for this case a little while back. It's still active, just waiting for it to process. So yeah, stay tuned for that potentially. Let's see. Next up, in summary, responding officers spoke to Redacted, who resides at Redaction, regarding a person shot at above address, related that she heard. Okay, so this is the same paperwork about the garbage can, and they thought something was in there, but they searched, it was nothing there. And someone has given them a thumb drive also that has a video evidence apparently. So a lot of video footage surrounding this case. Event 21303000054. In summary, responding officers assisted B1724 by going to Illinois Masonic Hospital. Okay, this is still pretty much informing us of the same thing. I think they're just copies of the same paperwork. And here is the field investigation. Victims, suspects unknown, unknown. They don't have any description of any type of suspect at that point. All right, and Keon Vance here. Yes, this is just the medical stuff. His handgun calls a weapon a firearm. He's transported to the hospital. All right. Scrolling on down. Let's keep going. It's just officers, the reporting officers. It takes a lot of officers in these cases, and in these homicide cases. So yes, the investigation, and here I believe is where they have all of the video surveillance. So they're requesting video surveillance. Here it is for the requesting detective. It's requesting video surveillance for all of these addresses. And evidence inventoried. Looks like they got it also. A lot of video footage. This report should be reviewed in conjunction with all other reports generated in this investigation. All information, descriptions, and statements in this report are approximations or summarizations and are not verbatim unless otherwise indicated. Responding officers has compiled this report from other reports and has completed this report to notify of the process in the data collection. Responding officers, after having previously been trained on methods of electronic evidence extraction, relocated to the above locations and recovered the below described video surveillance footage. After the footage was recovered, the source data was segregated and subsequently placed on a finalized optical disc. This disc was then inventoried. On October 30th, 2021, Detective J. Schneier, number 20097, requested assistance in retrieving video evidence for a homicide that occurred at 2758 West Belmont. Officers observed the following locations for possible video evidence recovery, and that is the personnel assigned to it there, and they had a contact person, and they're obtaining a lot of video footage from what I see here. They're going to get these DVRs. They're trying to trace down and make sure that they can, because if the crime took place at a bank, you should have some video footage of that crime, you would think, right? And I think that's the perspective that the police potentially are coming from now. With all this, they're trying to obtain a lot of footage here, and it's USB thumb drives, people giving them thumb drives and things of that nature as well. I mean, they have a lot of video evidence in this case. I mean, it's just pages of people contacting them about camera angles observed, that it either had value or it didn't. Yeah, these are very, very substantial in solving a case for sure. So just scrolling down here, and now we get to the autopsies for said victims, which here is Keon Holton, and he was a victim of, it seems to be a gunshot wound of left arm into chest. So the gunshot wound entered his arm and pierced and went into his chest and lodged. Keon Vance. Now, the thing with these autopsies is these are, all the shots that hit him, but there could have been multiple shots fired as well. But these were the shots that hit him and caused their downfall, not just him, and Keon Vance as well. And rest in peace to these guys. Rest in peace to all parties included in this. As you can see, more gunshot wound for Kevin Holton. He actually got shot as well. Keon Vance. Right. And so, yeah, those are the autopsy photos. And like I mentioned, man, rest in peace to those guys. All right, now we're going to come down and read a narrative of just a crime scene report that some investigators did. Investigators were assigned to process the scene of a double homicide in the rear parking lot of a vacant bank, with both victims going to Illinois' Masonic Hospital prior to our arrival on scene. Investigators met Detective Schneier, number 20479, and later Detective D. Dehan, number 21340, on scene. Investigators videotape searched marked the firearm evidence with yellow numbered markers 1 through 7. 1 and 2 were .40 caliber cartridge casings. 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 were 9mm cartridge casings. So here we have they fired more than the 2 shots that actually hit their body, and it's coming from 2 separate guns. So to me, this means it was potentially a shootout between 2 individuals, and this is pure conjecture from my own interpretation from reading these cases. So this, this is my own, not in the casework, but it's two different weapons, and there's 5 shell casings and two from a different gun. I mean, 9mm drop cases, so say two of these hit him, three more were fired, so it's kind of a lot of shots going on there. Investigators then photographed and collected the above evidence from the rear parking lot of the vacant bank. Detective Dehan arrived on scene from Illinois Masonic Hospital and requested that the hands of Keon A. Vance be bagged for possible trace evidence. Investigators then relocated to Illinois Masonic Hospital and went to ER Room 1 and processed Keon A. Vance by taking photographs of his hands, wounds, clothing, and then placed hand preservation bags on both hands. Investigators then went to ER Room 9 and processed Keon Holton by taking photographs of his injuries, tattoos, and clothing. Investigators then relocated to unit number 177 and took additional photographs of the black baseball cap with Gucci written above the brim. Investigators then inventoried the above evidence and wrote this report. And so there you have that. This report was submitted October 30th. And then just scrolling down, I think we just get to a bunch of the arrest reports down here. As you can see, Keon Holton here. And you get his criminal history here. Not much to note of there regarding this homicide in this case. And I think that pretty much will take us down to the end of the paperwork. Is really just arrest records for these guys that were involved in this case. And just comprehensive reports, more reports, subject profiles, documentation for the court, more redacted information. Which, this case is very interesting, to say the least. Rest in peace to all parties, that lost their lives in this case. I just want to say thank you to everybody that has been tuned in, that has been watching and commenting and liking. And I just, charge you to keep watching and tune in, because I am going to keep releasing content just like this. So thank you for tuning in. And again, comment, like, and subscribe. And stay tuned for more. Thank you.